everyone, my name is Axel, and I like to build stuff. This is the world's first ever vacuum-powered plane. And this is me also testing it in my backyard for the first ever Maiden flight. But before I show you all that, I need to backtrack 3 months to when I asked for your guys' video ideas. Some of you responded, and the one that was selected for this video was a vacuum-powered plane. I had a general idea of how I wanted this to work, but more on that later. My first idea was to use belts and pulleys as the main drive system, using PLA as pulleys and a Ninja Flex belt. The problem with this was very consistent slipping, so I had to scratch that idea. So my next idea was to use gears in a 1:9 gear ratio to give it a ton of speed. That was then connected to a propeller through a bunch of bevel gears. Speaking of propellers, this thing is an absolute beast. Here's an electric test I did with this propeller, and dude, it put the air down hard. Oh dang. That wasn't even 5% throttle, and it's putting down a lot of air. I kind of want to do full throttle. That's only 80% power. Then I attached a syringe to the whole assembly using a string and a custom plunger to be able to move the entire assembly by itself. Then it was time for a test. Alrighty, here's the first wind up with the cap on the piston, and everything is attached. The string is finished being glued to the axle, and yeah, test time. Whoa. Oh. Dang. The axle snapped. Wait. Hold on. Why did that axle snap? To answer simply, it's because of the way power is being transferred. When this 100 milliliter syringe is at a perfect vacuum, it has over 300 pounds pushing on the piston to snap it back to the front, or to reach equilibrium. However, since I have the gear right there, it allows it to turn that 300-pound instant force to a 30-pound 9-second force. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's just what my logic tells me. So back to the axle. It snapped because over 300 pounds was pulling on a tiny 6mm axle. This was the major flaw in this design, and so I had to scrap that entire idea. Sadly, this was 2 failures in one video, and I really needed to think outside the box. So I came up with a new idea. Instead of using props and all this other stuff, I decided to use jets, because in my past I have built over 3 air turbines. Now, what if I used the turbine to push air out the back as a way of thrust? I then printed and built the entire thing completely off camera. Sorry about that. And I didn't even bother painting it. However, if you want to know how this works, all you need to know is that there's a 1:3 gear ratio on wooden axles onto this air impeller, that there's 2 of them, so then they put out an instant amount of thrust, and hopefully this will be able to boost the glider into the air. Speaking of glider, I built this one out of an 11mm wooden dowel and 2 pieces of foam board. This was my first time ever building anything out of foam board, so I would have to say I actually did really well, but you guys be the judge of that. So after attaching the wings and elevator and rudder to the wooden dowel, I first needed to test if this jet idea would even work. So here's a few tests I came up with. Right, so I got this whole thing fully assembled. I had a few problems with the gear on the inside slipping on the axle, so I just modified it so that it had just this huge bevel right here, which allows it to grip the string. And I also super glued a zip tie on the actual pulley, so then the string has something to grab onto. Let's see if this thing will test. I also left this on right here, so then I could just wind it up easier. Whoa! What just happened? Oh, okay. So the super glue that holds this gear just shut off. So you got a very quick burst of energy. Let me fix that. Right, so this gear has been settling in the glue for about 20 minutes, and yeah, and also in the last clip I saw the piston only get to about 40 milliliters with a 5 milliliter air pocket. So yeah, let's just go to there. Well, it's slipping again. So instead, I just started by rotating it by the drive gear, and this seemed to fix the issue. Right, so the super glue just finished drying. I'm still going to wind it up by the gear, even though I can only get it up to the 50 milliliter mark. But I'm going to try it with 5 milliliters of air first, and then if it doesn't break, I'm going to try it with no air. So actually make it a vacuum-powered mechanism. Alrighty, that is 50 milliliters right there. 3, 2, 1. So even though it's a very short burst, I still felt a little bit of output. So, and then finally, after attaching the entire assembly to the plane, checking its center of gravity, and getting it fully ready for flight, this is the moment you've waited the entire video for. Oh, well, that didn't work. Hold on, before you leave the video, I just have to say one thing. 4 out of the 9 projects I've done on this channel have been failures. And these failures have been what's taught me to make better projects and better videos for you, the viewer. But still, I put in the time, effort, and money to make the best quality video and projects for you guys, even if they don't work as I intended them to be. But still, despite that, my channel has over tripled in size since January 1st, and I would just have to thank the 1.8% of you who have made that possible. Thank you so much for doing that. Also, I had a few comments that were asking for build ideas, both on Thingiverse and in the last video. So, starting next month, I will start releasing a build video the same time the project video comes out on this channel. So you'll have 2 videos to watch from me personally. Anyway, if you want to build any of these projects for whatever reason, I'll have all the links down in the description. But sadly, this is all I have time for this month. I would like to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next month. Goodbye.